Welcome to Delaware State Forest District. I'm Tim Dugan. I'm the Forest District Manager here, the District Forester for our awesome Delaware Forest District. So we have a great lineup today. We're here for a really important day, the unveiling of our new Resource Management Center. We're located here at a gateway to the Delaware State Forest in the middle of Pike and Monroe counties, 85,000 acres of beautiful state forest land that our staff and partners have helped to manage and maintain for decades on end. A really interesting part here is that this beautiful building is here for our staff, the hub of our activity. But the work that we do happens out in the forest around us. So it's a great location for us to be, to get out, touch the resource, see the forests and waters that we help manage, and take care of everything that we have in the community. Some of the big operations out of this site are the sustainable features, as well as being an emergency response center and being available for the community at large. So some of our other speakers will talk today about great amenities that we do have here, but I'm just happy to be here today with a great showing of people, friends, colleagues, and partners, and to celebrate the great forest that we help manage for the current and future generations. Next, I'd like to hand it off to Seth Castle, our State Forester.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. It's great to be here today. It's great to see our partners, other state organizations, other partner organizations, legislators, community leaders. Thank you so much for coming out today to help us really celebrate this important event of opening up this Resource Management Center in the Delaware Forest District. Driving up here today from Harrisburg and driving through this forest district just reminded me of just how wonderful this resource is up here that Tim talked about. Just a wonderful forest resource up in the northeastern area of the state here. And an area that's steeped in conservation history. There's so much, the early origins of the conservation movement can be traced to this area in northeastern Pennsylvania and the Delaware Forest District. So it's really fitting that we have an appropriate resource management center to honor that history and heritage. But the forest resource up here, and it's still, you look around and you still see the beauty of Penn's Woods and some of the oak trees and some of the pines still hanging on to the fall foliage. It's a beautiful forest resource, and the forests up here are really important for so many things. We're talking about carbon storage or clean air and clean water and the wood products that we all rely on, and we see them embodied in some of the architectural features here in the Resource Center, and that you all see in your homes, the wood products that we rely on. That resource is so important, but also when we think about what this represents, it represents our investment in managing that resource, but also represents investment in our community, because it's not just about managing the forest, but it's about managing the forest for people, the people who live here, the people who enjoy this resource. If you come here in the wintertime, there are just amazing cross-country skiing trails and snowmobiling opportunities, wonderful wild and natural areas, just places to enjoy. This time of year, a lot of people are thinking about hunting. Just tremendous resources for people to enjoy the state forest. But the work that Tim's team does goes beyond the 85,000 acres of Delaware State Forest. The private forest resource here is really important. Large tracts of land that are really important to our state's economy and our natural resources. And then even looking at the towns and communities in urban forestry and planting trees along streams to protect the Delaware River. All those things are really important. And represent the investment here in this Resource Management Center represents investment in all of those resources and all the things that people enjoy about our forests. But it also represents our investment in our staff and our partners. And all the work that we talk about with resource management, conserving the ecological resources, managing for recreation, providing technical assistance to private landowners and communities and forestry, they wouldn't happen without our really dedicated staff we have with DCNR. And really, we just wanted to give a shout out to Tim's leadership for the Forest District here, and whether or not people are welcoming people who come into the Resource Center or working with private landowners or managing the forest and keeping the roads maintained and preventing wildfires. They do really great work. I'd just like a round of applause for Tim and his team. But we also know that we don't do that alone, and that's why it's great to see so many partners here, because this Resource Management Center is the communities as well. And we appreciate you coming to support us. The work of conservation and serving communities is one that we can't do alone, so thank you. And in light of that, I'd like to introduce the next speaker, representing county government and Monroe County Commissioner John Christie. Thank you for being here, and looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. I'm not as smooth as others, so I have to write it down. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to join you here today in the heart of the Delaware State Forest to celebrate the opening of the new DCNR Management Center. This new facility represents more than just new buildings. It symbolizes our ongoing commitment to preserving, protecting, and managing Pennsylvania's natural resources for generations to come. I would like to especially welcome and thank Secretary Cindy Adams-Dunn of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources for her leadership and partnership. Her continued vision and dedication to Pennsylvania's forests have strengthened our ability to balance conservation with responsible use, ensuring our forests remain healthy, productive, and accessible to all. This move to the new management center provides DCNR staff and forestry professionals with modern, efficient space that will enhance their ability to monitor forest health, manage wildlife, habitats, support recreation, and respond to environmental changes with the latest tools and data. The Delaware State Forest is one of our region's greatest treasures, a place of natural beauty, biodiversity, and recreation. And this new center ensures that it will be continued to manage with care, expertise, and foresight it deserves. Together, we're not only protecting the landscape, we're protecting a legacy of stewardship, sustainability, and respect for the lands that define Pennsylvania. Congratulations to everyone involved, making the center a reality, and thank you for your continued commitment to our forests and our future. I'd like to now introduce Nicole Schnitzik.
Close enough.
Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Dr. Nicole Chinisi from East Stroudsburg University. I'm the director of the Dr. Jane Huffman Wildlife Genetics Institute. Many of you may know of us from the Pennsylvania Tick Research Lab. So under the Wildlife Genetics Institute, we house the Pennsylvania Tick Research Lab, and we do a lot of different studies related to the enzootic cycle related to ticks and tick-borne illnesses. We have been doing research in the Delaware State Forest since 2018, and probably some time before that. And having access to the state forest gives us a lot of information. So I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about how access to this resource from the lens of an institution that all of our young scientists are learning from. We are actually, one of our sites is right across the street at the Thunder Swamp, and we've been collecting ticks and other data points there since 2018. And we're looking at resources and how we can build mathematical models to predict ticks and tick-borne illnesses in areas, and having access to a state forest with the protected land that everyone does so well to do, it gives us different variables that we can use to measure how we predict different illnesses. For instance, the state park, we have a dense canopy that's different than residential areas. We have different sources of water, we have different diversity of trees, our small mammals that are give a lot of the illnesses to our ticks. The diversity of them changes. So having access to this resource and being able to research it has been invaluable for us. We're getting a lot of information related to how we can potentially control the tick population moving forward. It also gives our students access to a lot of the data that we're collecting. We have weather stations out there collecting, every hour they're collecting the relative humidity, the temperature. We look at how much snow we're getting through time. And all those variables, while we're using them for our broader predictive models to look at illnesses, our students are able to tap into that data and explore ways that they can do research as well. We had a student recently looking at how mass crop can be affected and how that would affect the density of our small mammal populations. So we use the data that we're collecting to not only help the management of these areas when we're talking about the forest, but also for our students to have learning opportunities. So when they grow up to be foresters and state agency, working for the Game Commission, they have that access and how that resource works, and how research can help us grow and understand our environment better. So it's been really important to us working here and having access to this. So thank you for everyone who's done that. And next up, we are introducing Commissioner Osterberg.
Thank you. So on behalf of myself and Ron Schmalzi and Krista Caceres, thank you to DCNR and the state for making such an enormous commitment and investment in our county. You know, sometimes we lose sight of the fact of how important these type of resources are in Pike County. Our largest industry is tourism. Tourism drives everything in our county to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. These type of investments just add to that because that's what we base everything on. It hires thousands of people in our county, and to see this type of investment is so important. But it's also the legacy of conservation, as was mentioned. You know, we can't forget that Gifford Pinchot, Herald from Pike County, his vision for conservation and preservation of land cannot go unnoticed when you see all the land that's preserved by the state in Pike County. And it continues his legacy. So, you know, as we move forward and we see this and we recognize all of the parks we have and the partnerships that we in the county have, whether it's here or it's at Lily Pond or it's at Promised Land, it's all of these special places in our county that draw everybody from far and near to make sure they enjoy us. So thanks for this investment. We appreciate it, and whatever we can do to help you even go further in Pike County will be beneficial to everybody, not only in the county, but in the entire Commonwealth. Thanks very much, Mike. And now I introduce Tim Knapp.
Thank you, and thank you for the invitation to come out today. Wow, what a great resource here right in Pike County. I work a lot with DCNR, whether it's flooding, ice storms, snowstorms, fires, all that stuff, and to see them have a resource right here in Pike County just makes everything so much easier for everybody. Porter Township's kind of rural to begin with. So when we do have an incident down here, it does become an issue to have some place to stage and work together with the folks. So usually we have to travel all the way back to Lord's Valley. But looking at this great complex, I don't think we need to do that anymore. And kudos to them, and kudos to everybody that was part of building this. It definitely is going to benefit everybody involved and every resident in Monroe and Pike County. I've said it a lot before, and I'll say it again. You know, people think big things, bad things don't happen in small counties. Well, I got a list for you. They do, and having a resource like this and having the great leadership of Tim and everybody else is going to just excel and make things a lot easier for everybody involved. Thanks again. I want to introduce Senator Lisa Baker.
Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon, everyone. Secretary, thank you for a world-class facility here in Pike County for an organization, DCNR, that is highly respected among all the agencies of state government. I've been proud to work with you and your staff for many years, and I'm delighted that this is now part of the 20th Senatorial District. Tim, thank you for all your work, and to all of your staff, I know that you will enjoy having this facility. And let's keep in mind that it is a facility that will be used. We want the community to take advantage of it. I'd just like to use a couple words from the moment when William Penn launched his great experiment on forest lands that had become an incredible natural and economic force and resource here in Pennsylvania. And what we know is that great conservationists like William Penn have led the way in increasing our understanding and appreciation for how proper care and management can ensure these assets are available for our environment, economic, and recreational purposes. And as we say that, conservation means the wise use of the earth, according to Gifford Pinchot. It's resources for the lasting good of men, and I'm going to add women as well. And Gifford Pinchot knew the greatest good for the greatest number of people for the long run. What you've developed here will be the greatest good for the great number of people for the long run. And I'm honored to join you today, and thank you for bringing it to the 20th District. Many people don't realize my dear friend Rosemary Brown and I represent Pike and Monroe counties, and so you are straddling the line between two great Senate districts. It's my pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, State Senator Rosemary Brown.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Senator Baker. You are truly right on the line. You're in Pike County, go back just maybe a quarter of a mile, and you're in Monroe County. So it is a pleasure to be here. And when you get towards the end of the line of speakers, you know, you take in what everyone else has said as well. And the largest portion of the Delaware State Forest is in Senator Baker and my district, Monroe and Pike counties. So we are very honored to have this in our area. But you know, a few of the other speakers did mention the importance of everything that we know of how beautiful it is. But if you put it all together, you will often hear that it's termed a working forest. And meaning that you are conserving, you're doing the ecosystems, you are doing water management, minerals, research, as Dr. Chinisi said. But with that, you still have the availability of use for hikers and campers and all the great things that Commissioner Osterberg mentioned, which is our tourism. So, you know, it is the management facility and the DCNR team and Tim and Secretary Dunn managing that, which is exactly what we need to have happen. It's the mix between the working forest, between all the ecosystems, everything in nature, and then also having us enjoy it. So we are thrilled to have the facility here. And Secretary Dunn has been through many administrations, and she has always represented with great class this agency. And Tim, you know, we've had many experiences together, so I always appreciate his hard work as well. And with that, I mean, I will tell you, the state does invest about, give or take, every year, $151 million to DCNR, give or take, depending on the year, right? But we are very pleased to support this, and again, happy to have it. Thank you all for being here. And with that, I am going to introduce State Representative Tara Probst of the 189th District. Thank you.
Hi, thank you everybody. First of all, it's 10 degrees colder up here than 14 miles down the road. And I'm proud to represent in the 189th District, Porter Township. So it's really an honor to be here today. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for what you do for conservation, our ecology. I mean, I wish more government agencies respected our environment like you do. And I really want to thank you for all you do and for all you do to try to keep it intact. And you care about conservation, you care about water, you care about ecology, you care about our wildlife. So just a huge thank you from my heart. I don't think I could say too much more based on the number in line I was to speak. However, I would like to read a citation that I had brought. So I guess maybe I'm going to give you the citation. Okay. How's that? Yeah, we'll frame it and hang it, right? Whereas the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources continues its proud legacy of stewardship through the preservation, management, and responsible use of the Commonwealth's natural resources, and whereas the Delaware State Forest Resource Management Center represents a major investment in the future of Pennsylvania's forestry and recreation, providing a modern facility to support sustainable forest management, conservation education, and public engagement, and whereas this new center will serve as a vital hub for DCNR, staff partners, and local community, strengthening efforts to protect our forests, enhance recreational access, and promote environmental sustainability across the Pocono region. And whereas today's ribbon cutting ceremony celebrates not only the completion of a state-of-the-art facility, but also the dedication and collaboration of all those who work tirelessly to ensure that Pennsylvania's natural landscapes remains a source of pride and prosperity for generations to come. And now, therefore, in recognition of this significant achievement and its enduring contribution to the Commonwealth, we proudly commemorate the ribbon cutting of the Delaware State Forest Resource Management Center and extend best wishes for continued success in advancing the mission of conservation, recreation, and community partnership. Thank you so much, and I don't think she really needs an introduction, but Secretary Dunn, thank you for all you've done for Pennsylvania.
Thank you. I'll probably give it to Tim for display here in this beautiful RMC. Yeah, don't blame me there. Anyway, great to be here. I'm reminding myself that I asked to speak last and ride sweep here, and I'm sort of regretting it because all the good Pinto quotes, all the good forestry quotes, most of the thank yous have been said. But I got to tell you, from all of DCNR, this is a big day. We couldn't be more excited to be standing here today and celebrating this great moment. I will point out a few unsung heroes standing around here. We've got our Deputy of Parks and Forestry, John Norbeck, standing there in the sun. So John, along with the Facilities Design and Construction, Belial Wave, and our Bureau of Forestry, whom you've met many of, we're really responsible for bringing us across the line. John, in that he manages the 150 or so million that we get for capital projects, and Keystone projects every year, and charting out the money and laying out the spending. FDC for their work with DGS and engineering, and thank you to DGS. Is DGS here? General Services here? Thank you, DGS. The DGS project, General Services. All those partnerships are really critical, but I really want to thank all of our staff, because when you're standing here at a day like today, there's this iceberg of work under us that's hard to see and hard to know. And it's a lot of work on the part of us and DGS and our partners. I want to thank DEP for their good work on helping us manage with the wetlands and the water and all that. It has a sister agency that's very helpful in the environment. And then within DCNR, we have a complex structure in the Conservation Landscape Initiatives. And Poconos Forest and Waters was one of the early conservation landscape initiatives. We recognized early on this juxtaposition of the forests of Pennsylvania, the valuable Poconos Plateau, the mighty Delaware, just really not too far from here, the beautiful streams that flow through this, and the high biodiversity of the region, coupled with, as has been said, the tourism and the hiking and the recreation, and how much people love this area. And so our Bureau of Recreation and Conservation, Christine DeTore, Tim Dugan, our leads, Janet from PEC, Janet, there she is, from PEC. We have a trio of leaders in the conservation landscape work. So that's another layer that hasn't been mentioned of importance on this spot. This becomes kind of the epicenter for the conservation landscape for people who get intrigued, have read something about it, want to come learn a little more. So that's really important. And then all the partnerships that have been mentioned for science. There's nothing we like more than to be kind of an epicenter for science and learning, and to engage the next generation in that with East Stroudsburg. And as we all know, stuff happens. So to be a place where emergency management, or partners in emergency management, the Pennsylvania State Police or local emergency management can come together. As we all know, stuff happens. The stuff happens here, okay? We know that. And it's good to have a spot where we can all gather and really do incident command and really get out there. I spent a lot of time out here during the 16-mile fire. Got to see some of that great coordination that happens out here in action, and it's really something to behold. And this area is so well served by all the people who keep public safety in mind and really coordinate together. And it's good to have a good spot that's wired for it. As Tim mentioned, this is the gateway to the 85,000-acre Poconos Forest and Waters. So from here, people can learn where to go, what to explore, what to do next. And for our tourism agency, that's important. They spend another day, spend a few more dollars because they just learned about something new they want to check out the next day. And so that's important to the economy of the region. And in terms of like the importance of this landscape ecologically, if you look at a map of the whole Mid-Atlantic area, this big forested plateau is critically important in the whole region. It really connects over the New Jersey, New York, and the forested landscapes there. It's critical in our connections in, like I mentioned, the Delaware watershed, etc. Very important ecologically. So to have people understand that, yes, You can manage forests in this landscape. You can hike, you can enjoy it, and you can conserve it. As Senator Baker said, the greatest good for the greatest number in the long haul. That can be done with good resource management. And that's why a professional place that houses our staff, that really enables them to do the resource management side of this in a professional way with all the right tools and the right place to convene and the right place to bring partners in as well. It's a good place where nature and people meet. It's hard to even estimate the value of outdoor recreation in today's society. We all saw a big boost in that during the COVID pandemic. But what we're learning, a lot of the studies that have come out of that, we are learning more and more how important time in nature is for people's physical health, their mental health, their community connection, and all the things that we need in society to heal society. People, when they see each other on the trail, are other people. They help each other. There's a different response that people have when they're together in nature, they're together in a park, they're together in a forest. And that's something that these public lands really bring together. These lands belong to everybody, everyone's welcome, and people can connect in a very positive way. And as Seth Castle mentioned, this is kind of the embodiment of what we're trying to do with forests across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We have 20 forest districts. We all have our favorite, and I'm sure everyone standing here is going to say it's either going to be Pinchot District just west of here, Lilo, or it's going to be the Delaware District. But across the Commonwealth, people have their beloved forest district. And these forest districts are really leaning more to inviting people and getting people out there recreating and connecting with people. Because we all know with the threats of climate change and some of the challenges in the environment today, we've got to educate people. People have to get connected to forests, have to really understand the ecosystem. And forests are a great place to do that. So connecting to people and giving them the information and the tools they need to really learn is a direction that Bureau of Forestry is leading on. And this is the embodiment of Penn's Forest, so the new plan, Forest for All, Plan for Pennsylvania's Forests and People. It's the first time any plan for forestry had the word people in the title, so that tells you something right there. It's a reflection of our commitment to modern, efficient, and welcoming forest. And for that, you need a modern facility to welcome people and really get them out there. So we're really happy today. So we're investing in the future of Pennsylvania, investing in the future of this forest, creating the next generation of conservationists, creating the next generation of leaders that can stand here in the future and really stand on the backs of the work we're doing today. And that's really as important as the land itself, the people that we're bringing forward. So again, happy day, happy to be here. Thanks to all for coming, and many, many heroes in this effort, both in the forest and in this RMC haven't been mentioned, but thanks to everyone who had a part in it.